Hey guys, thanks for joining me in the shop today. It's Rob from Stop Time. Today we're going to talk about Lionel MPC. And we have some engines and box cars here we're going to talk about. So I have with me a special guest today, Flash Gordon. He's going to step in and we're going to talk a little bit about Lionel MPC. So, hey Flash, you ready to do some talking about some Lionel MPC?
Let's talk about it.
We both are MPC lovers, and so we got some unusual pieces here. First being the Santa Fe 8022s. This was made in 1970.
Uncataloged, J.C. Penney. They made sets for J.C. Penney exclusively, and these were the diesels. It was a whole set. These were the diesels, and they're hard to find.
They are hard to find, and it's interesting because from what again, the documentation on the MPC stuff, and especially on catalog, is very sketchy at best. So I assume there was sets that came with just a single A, and then some came with a double A,
yes,
from what I understand. So you can find them single or double, but they were both numbered 8022. And there's an interesting story about the 8 with that also, Gordon.
Yeah, they when they were putting the number boards on, they actually had the 8 backwards. So if you look real close, it looks funny, because if you say, well, the 8 can be the same both ways, but it's not. It looks funny when it's flipped around, when it's in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But they're all that way.
Yeah, so they're all that way. So again, so when you come across, if you come across, it's a scarce engine actually, and that's a fun part of the MPC. There's a lot of scarce stuff there. So yeah, the 8 is backwards, and another thing too, and I'm going to do a whole segment on the Alcos, but you always want to make sure that that front pilot is not broke or has been repaired, which these are in really excellent condition. So cool piece, very rare. If you see these at a show, try to pick them up. They're affordable, they're not crazy money, but there's something that is very unique. You don't see them as the 8022s from right early 1970-71 time period. The other car we're going to talk about today is the Cracker Jack box car. And again, this was a neat car that Lionel was kind of getting into what they call like the Billboard series, correct, Gordon?
Right, and I think they were in the mid-70s.
Yeah.
They were made.
So, what do you know about the Cracker Jack? And we'll talk about that.
Well, there's a couple of stories about they made a white one, and then they made a caramel. This is a caramel, and the unusual thing about this one is they left the white off of, and now we don't know the number of cars. We're thinking somewhere around 100 or less, where they left the white off of it. And Rob, tell them a little bit about the story of what you heard of why the white's left off, because this is the common car here, and this would be the rare one without the white. But tell them what you...
Yeah, there's several stories, and like I said, it's been such, you're talking almost 50 years ago. But I did read in a book, and I talked to other people that involved with Lionel, and the story I heard was a little different than the story you heard. So, again, this is what I heard, that when they originally produced this car, that it was supposed to have the white around the Cracker Jack, and I guess the company who produced that decal, when they came in, the white wasn't there, so they ran a low production of them without the white, and they didn't like the way it looked. So then they made the car white, so obviously you don't need the white background, and did a run of cars with white with the Cracker Jack. And then in the meantime, excuse me, in the meantime they got the correct decals back in, and then they did the car the way you see it today. So there's really 3 Cracker Jack box cars.
Yeah.
There's the one like this without the white, which will probably be the first production. Then there's the white car with the Cracker Jack, and then there's the third, which is the way they probably intended it to be. So interesting stuff. The numbers, nobody really knows the numbers production. Thanks, Gordon, for joining us. Nobody really knows the numbers of production, but it's fun stuff to look at. And if you like the box cars and you like to collect that stuff, it's neat to have different variations of them on your shelf. So, hey, thanks for joining us. And like I said, if you're ever in the Akron, Ohio area, look us up and stop at the shop. We like to talk trains. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. We're going to talk all Lionel, from HO, O gauge, standard gauge. We are just Lionel freaks, and we have such a shop full of new and used equipment. So, hey, happy model railroading.